All right, welcome back. We are on week 4 of our case study for JoeHomeBuyerUtahLocation.com. We are attempting to convert a site that's primarily been pay-per-click into an organic search site where it's generating leads, generating revenue, generating traffic that way. So let's jump into today. We'll review where we're at, what we've done, and then talk about what we're going to do next. And we're actually going to talk quite a bit about internal linking. That's going to be our next step. I'm actually really excited about it. So first, let's review where we're at. So we started doing the location pages last time. If you'll remember, we're focusing on Salt Lake. And we've put out a ton of those pages. It's now the biggest, quantity of pages on our website. We've got 98 of them. And it's also our biggest in terms of word count. We're up to about 265 pages, almost 440,000 words. An exciting thing that we had, I got a phone call last night from Joe, and he said that this number right here, this direct conversions is up. The number that he was looking at last night was month over month. It was up 50%, almost 50% from 30 to 44. And he said that's entirely attributable to what we are doing, which if you look, organic search is still at the bottom. And we've gotten one lead from there, but direct search would mean maybe somebody, I guess talking about what they mean, direct search means somebody typed it straight in. So basically Google doesn't know where they came from. So it could be that they bookmarked a page. It could be that that somebody looked at a page and then texted it to somebody and they went there directly, or some sort of an email or something, or some other way that they don't know. Cross-network display and paid search, those are all different types of paid search. And then organic search is obviously what we're looking for. And if you do look, they haven't made any other changes to their strategy. So what he's saying makes sense. If I go back 4 weeks before that and look at direct is up on the top. And it used to be down at the bottom. So organic search has not come up yet. It will, but direct has climbed over those other ones, which is pretty exciting. Let's go back really quickly and look at the last 28 days. I'm going to just show you a couple other metrics while we're on this page that are really exciting. Organic search, again, engagement is great. We're averaging 5 minutes, and if you compare to the other ones, that's obviously way higher. People are liking our content that we're putting out. And sessions is engaged sessions per user. So that's where that direct will come in, is if they know it's the same person, then they'll know, hey, they've gone and then they've come back. And the direct ones, that means that they've lost track of them, right? So they've come in through some other way and they've lost track. And again, it wasn't zero before. Some of those could be from ads as well, but the 50% increase we're getting credit for, which we will gladly accept. Okay, let's look as well. Let's look on our traffic and our link positioning. All right, so impressions are up. That's good. Obviously, that's what we like to see. Average position is down. That's also good. That's what we like to see. Click-through rate is way down, so we only got, we'll skip to the end here. We only got, our clicks are down again. And again, some amount of volatility is to be expected where it's coming up and down, but we want that to be going up, obviously. And if we dive in a little bit, let's look at what's happening. So if we look at our top page, which is still our HTTP page, which I think will transition away from that over the next several weeks, but historically that's been our top page. Then we can dive in and see what's happening. Okay, so we see right there the average position went way up, which is why click-through rate's going to go down. And then if we look on our search terms, we can see what's happening. So the ones, the ones we don't know about went up. Joe Homebuyer, still a good position, right? Joe Homebuyer Utah, has gone up. So we're not ranking as well for Joe Homebuyer Utah. Salt Lake, we're still ranking well. Okay, so Joe Homebuyer Utah, that's a big difference. And let's actually look. Hang on, let's check one more thing while we're checking. Let's see how we did on Salt Lake. I wouldn't anticipate a big jump yet, and we'll talk about why in just a minute. Oops. But if we look, but let's just check and see. If nothing else, we're establishing a baseline. Okay, so let's look at just our Salt Lake terms and see what's happening. Okay, impressions up a little bit over the last couple weeks that we've been doing that. Position's still pretty flat. And then what pages are they showing? If we look down. Oh, it's showing our blog page. Oh, which is new. That makes sense. That makes sense. We've been putting on a ton of blogs about Salt Lake, so that makes sense. It would come. Oh, high page. We want to improve on that. Number of search terms coming up just a little bit. That's good to see. Yeah, and you can see it's shown that blog, which is a new one. Okay, that's actually a good segue. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about internal linking. So what an internal link is. So if we look, this is a page that we've posted. An internal link is anywhere where there's a link, and the styling on this, you can't really see them until you hover over them. That's how the style is on that, which is fine. So if you look in this page, there really aren't any links in here, so to speak. We have those table of content ones at the top. I think there's one other link. Right there's a little link back to the home page, and then down at the bottom in our bio, we have a couple of links to that podcast and back to testimonials. Okay, so we've held off. So all these links. So these, when you're writing articles, they're assets, right? They're things that you can use. One of the things that you can use on them is putting links in there, and links really serve at least three purposes. So the first is it's helpful for the user, and that's really the most important. So for example, down here at the bottom, if I'm reading about Joe, and then I say to see the stories of some of the hundreds of families he's been able to help, click here. So that's super helpful, right? Like if I'm reading that might be a question that I have, and we've been able to already answer it for them, or if somebody wanted to listen to this podcast, same thing, right? So that's the first purpose. The second purpose is all links, not just internal links, external links as well. They act as votes. And so as Google's trying to decide which page to search, one of the ways that they do it is to see how popular it is, right? And so if you pictured there were two pages that got published at the same time, and one of them had, let's say in the first day, they had thousands of people linking to it. And maybe they're saying things like, hey, check this out, or they're emailing it around, or whatever it is. And you had another page that got published and nothing happened. There were no links to it at all. Which one would you be more likely to show to somebody? Well, obviously the one with all the links. And there's some of the stuff that I say there's debate in, right? So in the SEO world, you'll see a little bit of a debate on internal links or external links. From what I've seen, they act very similarly. Some people might disagree, and that's okay. But at the very least, they don't hurt, right? So having more links is a good thing. The third thing that it does, internal links specifically, in contrast to external links, is it's a way that you can signal these are the most important pages on my website. So for example, if you come back over here, obviously the site that we're getting the most is our homepage, right? If we click, if we go down to our links, our homepage, both versions of it, those are getting the most links. That's pretty much always going to be the case. It's for a number of reasons, but one of the reasons is that it's always being linked back. So why did our blog page go all of a sudden? Well, our blog page has a bunch of links going to it. And so it has Salt Lake in there because we've been ranking here. I'll show you what it looks like. So if I click on blog, I'll open a new tab. So if I look now, it's talking about Salt Lake more and more, right? Because all these new blogs were talking about Salt Lake. And so number one, there's a lot of votes going to it, right? And internally also saying, hey, this is an important page to us. It's on the top of all our other pages. It's a very important page. And Google's read it and said, hey, it's talking a lot about Salt Lake. Let's put it over there. So what we're going to try. So now what we want to do is, in the past, in fact, somebody that I know and respect very well once told me not to publish content faster than you can link to it, or else it doesn't do any good. Now, if you look at ours, it's done a little bit of good, right? We'll take the 50% uptick in leads and conversions, you know what I mean, and things like that. But he's largely right. It's not doing as much good as it could. But we've waited on putting links in, actually intentionally, because I wanted to show the difference between making content and then actually linking through that content. And that's for a couple different reasons. Number one, you may be watching this video saying, well, I have a website. I have a great website, but it's not getting the traffic that I want it to. And sometimes writing more is the answer. Writing more will never hurt, but assuming it's quality. But a lot of times just implementing a better linking strategy will actually make the difference. And I'm going to show that. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll show what that does. And I'd anticipate seeing our numbers really go up. So first off, that might be your position, and so I wanted to show that to you. Second off, on a side note, if that is your position, reach out to me, and I'd love to do a case study where I actually show a page that has, rather than this case study, which has been phenomenal, but where it started out with very little in terms of content assets, right? We had, at the beginning, we had, if we look, 18,000 word website on 91 pages. And again, on those 91 pages, 72 are these location pages that were literally copied and pasted. They were the same thing. They weren't even getting indexed, which is okay, but it was just a small site in terms of content. We've been able to grow it, and we'll see the difference. I'd love to see somebody that has a larger site and do a case study for you to be able to do that. So let's show how that works. It's really easy. So if we come onto this, you saw there weren't any links. Let me run something in the background really quickly. And what we'll see is we'll let that run, take about 30 seconds, and then it'll add links into the page. So what we're going to start to do is we're going to go back to all the pages that we've published, and we'll add links to those. And then also now, as we publish them, we'll continue to add links to the new pages as well. And what I'd expect to see while that's running is, number one, that's going to take the number of impressions up. We should see we'll see a few different things. So number one, we'll see the number of impressions go up. Number two, we should see our average position improve, and those will go. They could seesaw a little bit. Sometimes when your impressions shoot way up, the average position won't work or won't improve. But then over time, as it dials in, it will. Number two, number three, that'll improve our click rate and our clicks. And then it'll also, down here, if you look, all of the pages that we're linking to or that we're getting impressions on, none of them are our new pages. They're all our old pages that we've come in. And that's good. We want our old pages to continue to go more. I'd also anticipate some of our newer pages to start to get some impressions as well as we start to link to them. So let's look really quick. That's still running. So let's see. Oh, no. Okay, I think it's done running. Let's look. So if I refresh this page, let's see if we get some new links that are in here now. Yes. So there's one right there, Joe Homebuyer. So Joe Homebuyer, linking back to the gateway, how it works there again. So again, as we go through, it's added a bunch of links throughout the article. So we'll continue to add more, and that'll be our plan going into next week. Is watching what that internal linking is starting to do, and I anticipate again over the next several weeks that making an enormous difference and actually starting to see the shape that we want to in terms of kind of exponential growth. So in recap, where we're at. So again, great week. The direct leads went up, or the direct conversions, which is ultimately what matters the most, went up. Impressions went up. Position did not go up, but we anticipate that it will go up. And stepping back, so we're basically 4 weeks in. We're almost a month in, and just you guys understand, this is phenomenal. Most of the time, if you're doing anything that's non-pay-per-click, in fact, I'll put a link in here to the video that talks about pay-per-click versus SEO versus content. Normally, if you're doing anything that's not pay-per-click, traditionally, you get almost no difference in a month. And so you'll hear people and they'll say, yeah, we're doing stuff. It's starting to make a difference, but we're laying the groundwork. And again, in this month, we've laid an enormous amount of groundwork. We've also been able to see results, which is incredible and phenomenal, and we'll continue to see results as it continues to go. So thank you everybody for your time in watching. Put comments or questions down below. Number one. Number two, if you're interested in being a case study for me, please put that down below as well. And then like or subscribe to the channel to see our next video and see the difference that internal linking makes. Thanks and enjoy the rest of your day.